let's get started. So welcome everyone to the webinar on data extraction from documents, template-based or AI-based. Can you go to the next slide, Pavel? Yeah, so I'm Karim. I'm the head of marketing at iText, and I'm pleased to see you here. Pavel is here as well. Pavel is our product manager at iText software. He's our specialist when it comes to data extraction and PDF generation, and he will be taking you through the ins and outs of data extraction and a possible solution for this. Next slide. Next slide. So we have a Q&A at the end of this webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat here in the webinar, and we'll answer them towards the end. We're recording this webinar as well. The recording will be available on YouTube in the next few days, and we'll also be sharing it via email in case you want to see the replay or want to share this internally in your organization. Feel free also to share on social. You can use the hashtag iText, and we'll be happy to comment or engage with your tweets or posts. Next slide, please. Before I hand it over to Pavel, a quick introduction to iText, because I see quite some people are new to iText. iText is a PDF leader when it comes to open source PDF generation and PDF manipulation. We've been around for more than 20 years, or at least our iText code has been. We're mostly known for our SDK, and the latest version is the iText 7 suite. We also have 2 document solutions in our portfolio. We've got many users of iText Ditto, our template-based document generation tool, and also a growing client base for our iText PDF to data solution, our intelligent template-based data extraction tool, which we'll also be showing later today in this webinar. Next slide, please. We have more than 125 million users worldwide because we're open source. So head over to GitHub, Maven, Nugget, or wherever you want, and start playing with the iText code if you haven't yet. We have more than 7,000 clients worldwide, and we're backed by some very interesting capital firms. Our experts are at the forefront of PDF technology. Our CTO and a few of our developers are part of the PDF Association, board member even, and part of the ISO committee for PDF. So if you have any questions regarding PDF, the format, or the technological setup, feel free to contact us. Next slide, please. So as I said, 7,000 customers across all industries from all verticals. We list here just a few. So we have customers really from governments, financial services, pharma, technology, large enterprises. 70% of the Fortune 50 are using iText, but we also have the smaller companies using iText for merging, splitting, generating mass PDFs. Next slide, please. Before I hand it over to Pavel, just a word on our developer community. We have a large developer community, and we always welcome contributions, pull requests from developers. If you are intrigued to help us or enticed to help us, head over to our website, to the developer section. You'll find our community guidelines on how to contribute to the iText products. At the end of this webinar, we'll also be sharing a survey to understand how you experienced the webinar. We also have a question in there if you want to join the iText developer community. Just answer yes, and then you will be part of our group developer community. We are sharing news to our developers in the community on a regular basis. We're not going to spam you. We reach out to you with questions, and if you want to be really engaged with iText, there's your possibility if you answer yes in the survey. And then the next slide, I think, is the agenda slide, Pavel. From here, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Karin. Thank you for the introduction, and hello, everyone. So on today's webinar, I'm going to speak about different approaches to data extraction from documents. And we start with document classification, then speak about template-based and AI-based extraction, advantages and disadvantages of both of them. and then a short demo on how you can extract data using template-based data extraction. We start with document classification. It's pretty important to know which kind of documents we want to extract data from. Basically, there are three big groups of documents: structured, semi-structured, and unstructured documents. All three on this slide. You may come across several different definitions of those types. We took ours from the AIbased group reports. Structured document can be mapped on the predefined template with a fixed layout and text to separate semantic elements. A few examples: different forms, medical, insurance, government forms. To make it simple, you can consider that a structured document is one which has a form. Beside that, different documents with a strict data positioning, like ID cards, passports, and so on. It is the simplest document type from data extraction perspective. To required data is always located in the same place on the page, regardless of the person fulfilling the form. Semi-structured is probably the biggest group here. Generally, semi-structured document contains some general keys as to the document organizational structure. There are documents like invoices, pay slips, purchase orders, shipping document, utility bills, bank statement, and many other. As I mentioned, it's the biggest group of document, I believe. Unlike the first type, you generally cannot find strict layout, but always can find some keywords or relation between elements and can build your extraction rules based on those relations. Unstructured documents, a document with arbitrary content like emails, contracts, articles, or in other words, unstructured documents do not conform to a predefined data structure and lack keys to separate semantic elements. You cannot be sure that the required data can be found in the same place or after the same keyword, even for emails from the same sender. Currently, there are two main approaches to data extraction: template or rule-based extraction and AI-based. Template-based extraction depends on document layout and relations between elements inside document. User defines the data to be extracted based on document structure. On the other hand, AI-based extraction, which may also be described with keywords such as ML for machine learning, NLP for natural language processing, or DL for deep learning, takes a different approach. It doesn't depend on template, but content. The AI, not user, defines data to be extracted. User gives feedback to AI by validating the output, and AI then uses that feedback to refine extraction algorithms and improve future detection and extraction from that type of document. What works best, AI or templates? For unstructured documents, there is effectively no option but using AI, or to be precise, natural language processing. For now, only NLP can give you a decent extraction result from unstructured documents, emails, articles, and so on. However, for structured and semi-structured documents, both template-based and AI-based extraction are applicable. So we can compare, and believe me or not, there is no simple answer which one is generally better. Each has its own advantages and disadvantages. Again, this is only for structured and semi-structured documents. AI won the battle for unstructured documents. Just a quick reminder, structured documents are forms, semi-structured invoices, utility bills, and so on. And we'll compare template-based and AI-based extraction for structured and semi-structured documents. As you can remember, AI-based extraction doesn't depend on document template or layout. Only content is important. Because of this, it has two very important pros. First, AI is resilient to layout changes. Two documents can look differently. It doesn't matter while they are semantically identical. For instance, invoices. Basically, all invoices contain the same data inside. Invoice number, invoice date, amount, list of items, something like that. If AI sees document with this content, regardless of the styling, it's considered this document as an invoice. Of course, it's easily processes slightly skewed or rotated document because of that. Out of the box, AI also offers perfect extraction from documents on which it has been trained. If AI is trained to extract data from invoices in English, it does it perfectly. As for cons, since AI-based extraction depends on document content, any changes in content cost a lot for a customer. To make your invoice trained models processes also utility bills, you need to retrain it. It needs specific knowledge, since the process often must be supervised. More important, it takes time and requires a huge data set to train models properly. Who has a couple of hundreds utility bills to train models? Well, I guess nobody, so you need to collect them first. Same problem with the language support. Because of its nature, AI solution offer pretty weak language support. Basically, you should have separate AI model for each supported language and train them separately. Back to previous data, you can't mix, utility bills in different languages together in the same data set and use this data set to train AI. Even if all those bills have exactly the same layout. As a consequence, it doesn't work with multi-language files. Well, template-based extraction has some pros because of it depends on the template, document template and structure, not content itself. So it gives lower cost of ownership. To create extraction template, you need only one sample file. After that, you can extract data from files following the same structure with the highest possible accuracy. Often template-based solution provide you with a user-friendly tool which allows a non-tech user create extraction template to extract data from files. Since user defines which data must be extracted, documents can be in any language. While user can read and understand this language, they can build a parsing through. It's also possible to create templates that works fine for documents in different languages while they have the same layout. As for cons, well, changes in document structure requires new extraction templates. It's true, and you probably need dozens of templates to support all files you want to extract data from. Moreover, the quality of input files is also important. So sometimes you need additional template if files is slightly skewed or rotated. Fortunately, there is a few techniques that can help you to make template more flexible. I'll try to show you some of them later on. Yeah, both approaches has features. Yeah, template-based extraction is like a meal kit. Vendor provides you with the ingredients, but you can use these ingredients in many recipes to make the dinner you want. When AI-based extraction is a ready-to-eat meal, you can buy stew, heat up, and eat. You don't need to cook. However, if you change your mind and decide to eat spaghetti, then you need to buy spaghetti. You can make spaghetti from your stew. And yeah, and then I would like also to show how possible to extract data from semi-structured and structured document using template-based solution, specifically iText PDF to data, which is data extraction solution from iText. As I mentioned before, to extract data with template-based approach, first you need to create a parsing template. I'm going to extract data from utility bills. And first, I need to upload sample documents in PDF to data editor. PDF to data editor is a tool which allows non-tech users to create extraction template. So it's uploaded, and we can define data fields. So what kind of data everybody wants to extract from utility bills? I bet it must be new charge amount. And here, as you remember, utility bill is semi-structured document. So I bet that part on the top right corner has a fixed layout, so you can easily use a pretty straightforward approach to data extraction. Just define area and use boundary selector to extract all data inside. So as you can see, result is being extracted. Confirm and look to another value to extract. I believe also it's important to have invoice number here. And here, of course, also can use boundary selector, but I would suggest you to use more flexible approach to extraction and protect yourself from different changes in the input files. So you can use pattern selectors. There are more than 2,000 of predefined selectors in PDF to data, so you can use right one pretty easy. You can find it. Regex selector avoid you. Not the regex, sorry. Pattern selector allows you to extract all data between prefix and suffix. In this case, we need only prefix, and invoice numbers is being extracted. So extract value is also highlighted on the sample PDF file. Confirm, and let's try to extract something more complicated, which doesn't follow, a fixed layout. All right, date of issue. To extract data, we have also, predefined selector called data selector. Basically, it allows you to extract data from entire document. So all dates from that document is being extracted by that selector. I bet that date of issue is the very first date in that utility bill. Even if supplier changed something in layout, it remains normally on the very top of your document. So we can add another selector to parsing pipeline. It's a picker selector, and leave only the very first date as extraction result. So voila. What else? Also, template-based extraction normally supports tables pretty well, and I'm going to show you how to extract data from tables. Even there is no I would say good tables for extraction. We'll try to extract let's say last bill line from that kind of table. Well, it's table but without headers. We have a table selector which is normally pretty powerful, but it doesn't work without headers in correct way. So we can use as a header the very first line of that table, this one, last bill, and yeah, and extract only the first line. Okay, it's already worked. Believe me, no. Yeah, format of header because it's not a simple. Yeah, but we can make it more flexible to using regex and protect ourselves from changes in the first line, especially in the amount. So we can use a pretty simple regex to extract data from that document, from that table. So now our data field will work for any amount in the right column. Confirm and yep, and get back. As you can see, it's pretty simple to extract data from semi-structured document, and of course, it's even simpler to extract it from structured ones. I have a form 1040 here, or tax return form, American form, and let me show you how to extract data from structured document. Basically, the only selector you need here is a boundary selector. You can be always sure that you find the first name here, boundary selector. You can copy a field, last name here. Yep, and then yep, and maybe social security number as well. If you want to extract it, also can extract it. Boundary selector again. So approach to extraction in that case pretty straightforward. Oh, and you need additional restrict area of interest by the first page because it's multi-page form. Yeah, it's done. Voila, that's how you can use PDF data to extract data from semi-structured and structured document. Additionally, having that extraction template, it's already extraction template here, which and the free data field defined. You can test it on a few other examples to validate it and define that if it's good enough, and in case it isn't, you can add more flexibility using those approach with regex or pattern selector and so on. So that it's for demo of table-based data, template-based data extraction, and yeah, I give floor back to Karim.
Yes, thank you, Pavel, for this interesting demo. Let me switch on my camera again. It's a little bit more personal. My colleague is here as well. So indeed, we are now at the Q&A. We received several questions. Perhaps the first question, very similar to one of the questions of the session earlier today. So John is asking if you can clone or copy templates to reuse it for slightly different documents. So copy cloning templates for reuse to reuse it. Is that possible?
Yeah, indeed, it's very important improvement. We don't have it right now. I mean, straightforward way to copy template and replace sample file, but we have it in our roadmap, and we're going to release that feature this year. So indeed, it's important to have a possibility to copy template because normally template-based extraction needs a lot of templates.
So we'll notify if that is an important feature. Please sign up to our newsletters and we'll make sure that you receive the news when this feature has been added. Andrew is asking if iText PDF to data, is it available on cloud?
Well, partially. No, not out of the box right now. You can definitely deploy a template editor, which I just show you on cloud. So it allows your non-tech employees to create extraction template, but basically SDK part, which is doing parsing, need to be integrated into your software, either .NET or Java application. And of course, after that, you can deploy it whatever you want, including cloud.
Okay, I hope that answered Andrew's question. Ted submitted several questions, so Ted, I'll post them. I'll ask them here to Pavel. So Ted is asking, is there support for PDF 2.0? That's his first question.
Oh, well, yes, yes, it is. It is support of PDF 2.0. Basically, it's for PDF data, doesn't matter which well, specification of PDF is being used to create a document. While it's correct PDF, you can extract data from that PDF. I mean, without syntax error or something like that.
Okay. Next question by Ted. Can AI do image recognition? For instance, identify if there is a specific logo. So can AI do image recognition? For instance, identify if there is a specific logo.
Yes, AI can do image recognition. If you train AI to recognize that specific logo, you can expect that AI will be able to do so. But to be honest, I have no idea how many documents and data set you need to train AI to recognize specific logo. Maybe hundreds of them.
Okay. Another question by Ted. Can I extract hidden text and optional content or layers? I presume that's on the template-based version.
On the hidden text and the optional contents and layers. So if it's okay for you, you can share with us that example with a hidden, because there are a lot of techniques in PDF which allows to hide text or use optional layers. So it's in some cases yes, but I can say that generally we can do it. Depends on the way how it's great.
Can you trial it with our iText PDF to data trial, Pavel?
Yeah, we have a trial for iText PDF to data, and of course you can request it on our website and get it free for 30 days. And yeah, we also provide a lot of documentation regarding data extraction PDF to data. You can use it, and of course you can always ask us. I believe there is an email, marketing@itextpdf.com. So feel free to drop your questions on that email.
Okay. So Ted, feel free to try it with our trial, and if you have any further questions on that, we can support you, obviously. Next question is from Rick. He asks, when you apply the template to new documents, does it go look on the same page number and the same coordinates, expecting the data to be there? So let me repeat the question. When you apply the template to new documents, does it go look on the same page number and the same coordinates, expecting the data to be there?
Well, it depends on selector you use for data extraction. If you use regex selector, for instance, or pattern selector, which is a pretty good example, it doesn't do anything with coordinates. It's used only intelligence rule to find the data and extract it. But of course, if you use boundary selector, it's important. Coordinates of value important for boundary selector. It extract data only from specific coordinates on the page. That's why boundary selector isn't use only boundary selector isn't a perfect solution for many cases, but sometimes speaking about forms, it's probably it works pretty good, I would say.
Okay. Another question by Ted. Can I extract METS or ALTO info? Can I extract METS, METS / ALTO, ALTO info?
All right, good question. So maybe you can send it by email, and I ask about that from our development.
So Ted will get back to you on that offline. Rick has another question. Does PDF to data work for scanned documents?
Well, it works. So there is no out-of-the-box support of images as input files on the PDF, but you can use our I believe free to use add-on for iText 7, PDF OCR, which works, which just convert images into PDF document, and then using iText PDF to data, you can extract data from that document.
Okay. Ted is then asking, is extracted data format XML, JSON, or choice? Can you choose?
Yeah, it's extract data into XML format. AItext PDF data, I mean.
Viral is asking, can you integrate with Lambda function to auto trigger template and display output to a client? So let me repeat. Is it able to integrate with Lambda function to auto trigger template and display output to a client?
Well, yeah, as I mentioned, PDF to data SDK must be integrated into your application. So it's on you, to be honest, how to implement and how to call PDF to data SDK to parse data. So generally, yes, but yeah.
Okay. Ted is quite asking, so I see he's going to get a trial. So yeah, please feel free to trial. And he's asking as well if available as NPM package. Not sure.
NPM? No. No, it's not
available as
available.
NPM package.
NPM package.
And I see Michelle is asking.
It's available as a Docker container. I mean, speaking about PDF data editor and SDK available as a native library for Java, .NET, or as a CLI, command line interface.
Then we are running over time, but the last two questions, perhaps both from Michelle. She's asking, or he's asking, how do we associate an extracted field with a label? That's the first question. So how do we associate an extracted field with a label? For example, issued date versus due date.
All right, I believe that question about how that data will be extracted, and it depends on the name of data field. Basically, I can show it really quick. So I have example here, and and first it's a name, it's in fact label and value, and it's going to be extracted in XML format. This one is going to be field name, and that's a value. I believe, yeah, I got your question correctly.
Michelle, if you have any further questions on that, we can definitely answer them if you email them to us. The last question that Michelle asked: how does it handle fields that span 2 pages? For example, a table that continues across 2 pages.
Yeah, that's not an issue for table. A table selector allows you to extract the tables that span across 2 tables. Yeah, so it's pretty powerful tool, and it's probably the only example speaking about fields that span over 2 pages, only tables, and the table selector can extract those tables.
Okay, great.
You should do it the same way as I showed. So just define the part of the table, and then table selector is able to define entire page, the entire table, even if it's a span over 2 or 3 pages. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, they can also trial that with our trial version, right, Pavel?
Yep, of course. You can, right.
Very good. So if you want to trial AItext PDF to data, just go to the website. There's a button called Get Started, and there you then have the option to request the free 30-day trial for AItext PDF to data. We answered all the questions, Pavel, apart from one, so we'll get back to Ted on that. Before I say thank you to everyone, just want to point out as well, we recently started with some live streams. Our developers are now going to run some coding sessions, I think on a bi-monthly basis or so. Just follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn if you're interested, because our developers will be sharing the dates for those live streams on via social media. If any further questions on data extraction, just send them to marketing@aitextpdf.com, and we'll pass them on to Pavel, who will get in touch with you and help you with your questions. Thank you very much, Pavel, for presenting this webinar. And then I would like to say have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.